Bill O'Reilly here, Monday, August 15th, 2022. You are listening to the O'Reilly Update. Here's what's happening today in America. Republicans rally around Donald Trump. The White House defends the FBI raid on Mar-a Lago. A majority say COVID has become normal. A survey reveals the healthiest cities in the USA. Also ahead, we are all in danger. But first, the FBI search of Donald Trump's home in Palm Beach, Florida, has given him a boost in the polls. A survey from Politico finds 57% want Trump to win the GOP nomination in 2024. That's a 4-point bump up compared to last month. 17% of Republicans support Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, said Mr. Trump on his Truth social media platform, quote, "I now have record polls because America is being destroyed," unquote. The Biden administration defending the Trump raid as Republicans accused the White House of weaponizing the FBI. Said Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre, quote, "The Department of Justice, when it comes to law enforcement, is independent. This is what we believe. And this is what the president has said," unquote. Not a very reassuring statement. 7 in 10 voters now agree with the following statement: "It's time we accept that COVID is here and we need to get on with our lives," unquote. A report from Monmouth University highlighting a huge gap between the political parties. 90% of Republicans are prepared to live with COVID, compared to 50% of Democrats. 1/3 of the public predict the country will never return to normal. Survey from Wallet Hub revealing America's healthiest towns. The cities are ranked by exercise, lack of obesity, percentage of smokers, drug addiction, life expectancy. Fittest place in the country for the 3rd year in a row, Salt Lake City, followed by San Diego, Miami Beach, Denver, Colorado. The unhealthiest town in the country, Brownsville, Texas, followed by Mobile, Alabama, and Jackson, Mississippi. In a moment, danger. It is here, but few realize it. Coming right back. Does inflation and the looming prospect of recession have you worried about your finances? Did you know endowments, pension funds, and the ultra-wealthy have been quietly investing in farmland for decades, and it pays off for them? Farmland returns have averaged 11% per year for the last 30 years, despite the dot-com crash, Great Recession, and COVID. And when inflation goes up, so does farmland value. Until recently, farmland investments have been accessible only to institutions and elites. Acre Trader breaks that barrier. Acre Trader makes it easy to invest in thoroughly reviewed farm offerings quickly and securely. Their team of agricultural experts does all the work while you collect passive income from your farmland investment. So put your money in a time-tested asset by visiting acretrader.com or call 888-958-1470. Tell them O'Reilly sent you. acretrader.com. Time now for the O'Reilly Update message of the day. Remember that Jethro Tull song, "Let's Bungle in the Jungle"? Well, that's all right by me. No matter how it turns out, the Justice Department bungled its probe into Donald Trump's classified document situation, just like it screwed up Russian collusion, Hillary emails, Hunter Biden, on and on. Somewhere in a very warm place, J. Edgar Hoover is blinking rapidly. We don't know yet how serious the Trump transgression is, but it's safe to say that the raid is a symptom of a much more intense problem facing every single American. The Biden administration is blundering the country into dangerous territory. The president and his crew are creating intense problems and division among the citizenry. Let's examine the record. Unless Donald Trump was actively undermining the security of the nation, the invasion of his home should have been handled differently. Drastic action requires precise explanation, at least in a democracy. We, the people, have not gotten clarity from the Biden administration about the FBI raid. Then we see the painful inflation ignited by the presidential attacks on fossil fuel, the incredible debacle at the southern border, the collapse of the airline industry, and the brutal rise in violent crime. But perhaps the most dangerous federal screw-up of all was Nancy Pelosi's unnecessary trip to Taiwan. Why did she provoke China? For what reason? We don't know. Writing in the journal The National Interest, Harvard professor Graham Allison puts forth, quote, "If forced to choose between accepting an independent Taiwan and a war that destroys Taiwan and much of China, President Xi and his team will choose war," unquote. Allison's opinion is speculative, but he knows as much about China as anyone on the planet. Therefore, competent American leadership does not make the Taiwan situation worse, which is what the Pelosi visit did. What did the United States accomplish? Nothing. That's what. Overall, the anti-Biden narrative is mostly based on his inability to govern in a positive way. He does not solve problems. He may not even understand them. But I now believe Joe Biden is a dangerous president because he cannot anticipate serious situations, of which China is at the top of the list. Under Biden, America is a far weaker country than it was when he entered office. Therefore, we are all in danger. Pelosi sticking Beijing, the FBI battering Trump, millions of foreign nationals sieging the border, gas prices hurting everyone. None of that had to happen. But it has. I'm Bill O'Reilly. I approve the message by writing it. If you would like more honest news analysis, please visit BillO'Reilly.com. And I hope you check out Killing the Killers, still a big bestseller, great summer read. In a moment, something you might not know.
This advertisement is paid for by Lacuna Ventures, LLC. For terms and conditions, visit yourrights.legal. Attention! If you or someone you know spent time at Camp Lejeune, North Carolina prior to 1988 and developed serious health conditions such as non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, lung cancer, bladder, breast, or kidney cancer, you may be eligible for significant financial compensation. Call Camp Lejeune victims to discuss your case now at 800-706-9790. Leaking underground tanks contaminated the drinking water with benzene and other highly carcinogenic chemicals, up to 280 times acceptable levels. Marines, their families, contractors, or employees who spent at least 30 days at Marine Corps Base Camp Lejeune prior to 1988 and developed a serious health condition. Call to determine your eligibility for financial compensation. If you don't win, you pay nothing. It's critical to take action and call now. 800-706-9790. That's 800-706-9790. Again, 800-706-9790.
Now, the O'Reilly Update brings you something you might not know. 83 years ago today, one of the most successful films in history debuted in Hollywood. The movie featured a 17-year-old girl, a Tin Man, Cowardly Lion, Scarecrow, and a 3-year-old Scottish Terrier named Toto. Here is the story behind The Wizard of Oz. The original book was first published in the year 1900. Author L. Frank Baum thought the story would sell a few thousand copies. It quickly became the best-selling children's book of all time. The characters were drawn from Baum's early childhood. He frequently had nightmares of a scarecrow chasing him across a cornfield and of being mauled by a lion. In his early 20s, the author's niece, Dorothy, became gravely ill and died from congestion of the brain before her first birthday. Baum compiled his personal trauma into the Oz story. He settled on the name Oz as a reference to the newly formed nation of Australia. By the 1930s, 2 million copies of The Wonderful Wizard of Oz had been sold in the USA alone. Executives at MGM bought the rights to Oz after watching Walt Disney's Snow White in 1937, a very successful film based on a popular children's story, of course. The movie, Wizard of Oz, starring Judy Garland as Dorothy, premiered less than 2 years later. It is regarded as one of the finest films ever made. It even has a permanent exhibit at the Smithsonian Museum of American History in D.C. It's ranked as one of the top 5 features of all time, right alongside Citizen Kane and Casablanca. And here's something else you might not know. The Wizard of Oz went woke a few years ago, way before it was hip. A remake of the film, named The Wiz, was released in 1978 with an all-black cast starring Diana Ross and Michael Jackson. Producers swapped Kansas for Harlem. The Wiz was a commercial and critical disaster. The film cost $40 million to make, earned just $3 million at the box office. Back after this.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-925-7584 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-925-7584. That's 800-925-7584. What do you have to lose? Call 800-925-7584. Again, 800-925-7584.
Thank you for listening to the O'Reilly Update. I am Bill O'Reilly. No spin, just facts, and always looking out for you.